making television. A team of people pulling together in the pursuit of excellence. But look, would you put that Puzzler magazine down? Edit this bit out. Over the years, we've seen behind-the-scenes documentaries on the making of blockbusters like Star Wars, Titanic, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Tonight, I'm less excited, quite considerably less than excited, to give you the making of Robot Wars. If there's not something decent on later when I'm walking.
Welcome to London's Docklands, the home of Robot Wars. This is where all the metallic mayhem takes place. Now, if you're like me and you've wondered how it all began, then you're in for a treat, because in this very special programme, we get to see how the first series of Robot Wars got to the screen.
Confirmation, please, that the arena is clear and safe for combat.
Arena clear.
The arena is clear. Shots of the roboteers, please, on 2.
Stand by.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Robot Wars.
Cue Bison. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Robot Wars first began in this country in about November '95 when 3 of the teams from America, who essentially they came across as ambassadors for the sport of Robot Wars, Thor, our Machine and the Master, they came across and took part in the British Open Robot Wars competition, which essentially in reality meant that we'd built very hastily 6 robots of our own, which then took on the Americans. Didn't do particularly well, but off the back of that showcase, the BBC commissioned the series.
Hang on. And here we go. And cue Jeremy.
Man may have tempered the spectre of nuclear evil, but tonight I have the unenviable task of reporting that warfare has been taken out of man's hands. We're now at the mercy of machines, and a battle the likes of which we've never seen before is about to begin.
From King Edward VI Grammar School, Tracy.
Might have a girl's name, but nothing ladylike about our Tracy, made of welded steel with deadly spikes and a very low centre of gravity, only 20 centimetres high.
The teams that actually got involved in the first series came from a very diverse set of backgrounds. A handful of schools, quite a few universities, engineering companies, a few blue chip companies.
From Bodmin Community College, Roadblock.
Now time for a demonstration of the Road Rage's pulling power.
Weighing in at 82.5 kilograms and over 1.45 metres long, all the signs suggest that this is a robot to be reckoned with, carrying a deadly circular saw.
Stop the car, stop the car.
From Nottingham, Shogun.
Built around a complex chassis featuring 2 Sinclair C5 motors and a 2-stage gearbox, Shogun can achieve a maximum speed of 7 miles an hour, and weapons include a motorised forklift and the honour of the samurai.
2 loads, a 16-foot diameter plinth 3 foot off the floor. We have to face a house robot and stop on there as long as possible. What do we know about the house robot? Zip up.
There was a few sort of loose concept sketches based on the sort of really sort of trying to get people's imagination going for the whole programme, and these were really some very way out sort of robots. The idea of the house robots, the gladiators, came clear, really. I then understood what we were required to do as far as building the house robot was concerned. We only had 6.5 weeks to build everything and design everything. We were up against building 4 fighting vehicle robots capable of fighting against other robots and smashing bits off of them, and at the same time looking good as well. And cut a sort of when we actually came to build the house robot Matilda, it would be very much a sort of an organic type of looking vehicle or robot, and it would definitely have a sort of a personality with eyes and sort of tusks or something like that. It took 3 or 4 attempts in the sculpt of the clay to get it right, I mean, I really wasn't happy with it, and I had to keep getting it changed each time, which annoyed the people that were sculpting it, but at the end of the day it was really worth it. You sculpt the body up, and then you take a plaster mould of the clay, and then within the plaster mould we fill it with fiberglass and fiberglass tissue. Fiberglass is excellent material, very easy to work with, absorbs the impacts, and is incredibly durable as well.
This is a ground plan. It's the set drawn to a scale that just plots everything that we're going to have on the day. The reason we make a model is so that we can present our ideas in 3 dimensions, so the production team know what we're going to make for them.
I enjoy going to scrapyards and looking at things because it's great. You uncover all sorts of gems that you don't expect to find.
We want bigger stuff that's more unusual shapes, like this.
Yeah, you'll just turn around and say, right, I want this, and then we just make up a lorry load.
A quantity of...
I mean, normally...
But the scrapyard in particular is used a lot in the film and television industry. They provide a lot of things for Star Wars and Judge Dredd, that type of movie.
Yeah, excellent.
From Nuneaton, Dreadnought.
The fiberglass-protected Dreadnought runs off a 12-volt starter motor salvaged from a Morris Marina at 5 miles an hour. Not the fastest robot in the field, but certainly the heaviest, weighing in at 92.6 kilos.
Have you encountered any problems so far in the construction process?
Well, we've had a few problems, but we managed to straighten most of those out. We've got one problem though, that we've improved Road Rage's pulling power, but we just can't seem to control them. I mean, right now we're not totally where Road Rage is.
From Gloucester, Body Hammer.
A copper-coloured cone looks a little bit like a coal scuttle, powered by 4 18-volt domestic drill motors, weighing in at 78.9 kilograms, quite heavy, but also quite nippy at 9 miles an hour. I'm your commentator, Jonathan Pierce, and these are the house robots.
2 main features are the chainsaw here at the rear, which will go up and down onto the prey, causing extreme damage, and the flippers at the front, which scoop underneath the prey, flip them over to reveal the underneath, which the chainsaw can do its business.
Prehistoric Matilda's next up, with hydraulic tusks and a truly lethal chainsaw tail, running at over 3,000 revs per minute.
All very safe, of course.
And this one's got a gas flamethrower in here. It's got a turret that turns round where the flame comes out of. You've got to have the mechanism in to turn the turret round with the gearing and everything else. It's also got an offcut saw, petrol offcut saw on the back here.
Keeping order, Sergeant Bash, featuring a savage circular saw and a flamethrower, certain to leave all opponents hot under the collar. Introducing Shunt, a power-packed robot capable of pulling a Land Rover.
Which I suppose would be the best type of robot to go for the sumo event.
Sumo!
But it'll actually defend itself very well, because anything ramming at it, hopefully the robot will be able to turn itself into position, and anything would just go shooting at, turn itself over or fly over the top.
And it's Kilotron in the pink, just in case you'd forgotten.
At the back is more towards a bulldozer type of effect. Again, we can use it for ramming or defending.
And Doom!
And in this sort of area we can have a large lever with either an ice pick.
And cleave all opponents in two with that sharpened steel axe.
It's got a petrol strimmer that's been modified to take an angle grinder blade. And on the front it'll have jaws and then the cut-off saw.
And dead metal with the pneumatic pincers and a steel cutting arm.
where robots come when they finish Robot Wars.
So what are you doing here, Stu?
Just looking for interesting shapes that we can use on the set. We can tie them to mesh panels. Just get some nice sculptural shapes out of this salvage. That's good because it's lightweight. Huh? Heather, look at that.
But they want something that they can weigh properly, that they know what the weight is.
I don't think we need too many items much bigger than that.
No, it's kind of...
That's the scale of it. I think we've seen enough. We ought to go and get the guy.
Now, if you haven't already checked in your radio control gear at the transmitter control over there, you must do that immediately. No one should use any radio control equipment until that has been done. About 4 weeks before the recording of the series, we basically gathered all the robots together, which I suppose in traditional TV terms could be described as an audition.
So the description is a cake-like object.
Well, it's not actually going to look like that when it's finished, because we're going to lower it down on 2 mud guards on the wheels and cover it in fur.
From Dublin, Nemesis.
At the moment it looks like a big quality street tin or something.
From Mickfield near Stowmarket, Recyclops.
The batteries come out of skip. That's what Robot was about. Yeah. Yeah, that battery is a dud one.
We had to check out the robots, make sure that they conformed to all the health and safety rules. We also wanted to meet the actual teams and the people behind the robots to make sure they knew what they were letting themselves in for.
So why is it called Recyclops?
Because everything's recycled. Ah, you see?
How much did it cost to make? Well, we acquired a lot of stuff. So, I think we so far the most expensive part was the radio. That would,
transmitter.
Yeah.
Hazard a guess at the cost.
About, I'd say in total about £200.
It was one of our rare opportunities to actually test out some of the games that we had been devising for the robots. We drew out a maze on the floor along the lines of the plans that we were developing on the drawing board.
In this week's trial, our 5 surviving robots have to take on a steel maze called the Labyrinth.
This is meant to be a skill game. It's meant to be testing control and manoeuvrability and agility. So try and avoid going over any of the lines. Try and stay true to it being a maze. Imagine there are walls there.
So only a complete idiot would ever end up going down a dead end.
And the winner is whichever one gets to me first.
The one that covers the least distance will be killed and eaten.
The rules are there for people's safety and for the audience's safety as well. No untethered projectiles, no explosives, no corrosives, no acidic weapons, no liquid weapons, no form of interference in the form of electrical jamming or anything like that.
We're going to have an exciting time kind of looking at it from a television point of view. What's really interesting is how close we can get cameras. What I really want to do is get cameramen into the arena. But with the pickaxe and with the chainsaw, I might not be overconfident to try and do that. The trouble is with these sort of things, they're 2 or 3 feet long. The arena's big. We really want to get an exciting view of some of these, which could run at 30 miles an hour. That's the other reason most cameramen can't run at 30 miles an hour.
And at the moment there's some really good ones in there, with Cambridge University's one and a few of the others. It's really looking good. There's some good stuff there. Those guys arrived in all the camouflage gear.
Yeah.
That one I thought, that's a bit more like it. Who's the blue one?
We brought our technical consultants along, people like Matt Irvin and Derek Foxwell, and the teams were given the opportunity to speak to our experts and try and get their robots up to speed.
Jack said that 8 o'clock this morning we'd report back.
That was a mistake, wasn't it?
No.
Oh right, it's now 4:30.
Now 4:30, and we are very impressed.
Very impressed.
With all the robots we've seen.
With all the robots we've seen?
Yeah. We're quite enthusiastic.
Doubly enthusiastic, yes.
Yeah.
We built the house robots the best we could within the 6 weeks that we had to build them. But there was always that element of doubt in the back of your mind that somebody might come along with something that's absolutely amazing and sort of trash us to bits. And on a programme where you've got fighting vehicles and fighting sort of elements within it, Flame would look excellent. And eventually I managed to talk them into it. And so, yeah, we can do that. We can do that perfectly safe. It will be perfectly all right, because there was a lot of worry about safety as far as flamethrower is concerned.
There were about 30 people involved in the setting of the scenery over about 3 days. Well, there's a bit of worry because obviously we're up against the clock. We've got a lot to do in a very short time. Quite a challenge, but I enjoyed it. It was good fun.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you very much. So you got a few holes in the roof, but
Don't worry about it.
yeah. Tank trip.
Yeah, lovely.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
See you later.
I don't think anybody's done a robot set before. It's a completely new idea, and when we first got the brief, it was great. I mean, it just sort of boys to the job. It's great fun.
3 days to go now, and just doing all the wiring. Should be getting this one to run in the next half hour or so. Yeah, just tried it, it's all dripped on the floor a little bit.
First thing was to get the stage into place and then erect the scenery around that. Trying to create some sculptures in scrap metal. We thought that was a very good way of working because it was A, cheap, we didn't have a great deal of budget, and B, I knew I could get a good look, especially if I gave it a kick with some silver spray paint. That always helps.
Just either side of these uprights.
The look was the most important thing. To get something very sexy and metallic. Now that's why we used the neon signs and a lot of neon because it works very well on camera.
It was incredibly tight. I mean, 6 weeks to completely from scratch to build these things. Because really, the first week or so, we were just waiting for materials to come. At the end of the day, it all pushed back, and some decisions as to like what colour Sergeant Bash was going to be were left sort of to the day of the studio to decide with it.
So they've got to get on, then as soon as they get on it starts rotating. If they're very quick they might just be able to dart out, but otherwise they're going to have to wait for a full rotation before it comes back around again. And then they're going to have to get off. And then double back. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. They don't. The doors presumably slide open for the first one and reveal the light and the smoke, and then that one rolls out, and we'll cut to Jeremy or the audience or whoever. My concern is how much room you've got at the back there for the robot to actually perch on that edge there, because it's not that much distance there, is there? Yeah, it's 4 foot. 4 foot, okay. By the time we actually got to the finished set, the set had been built, the cameras were there, the special effects were in place, all the teams were there with their robots, dressed in their uniform. It was actually very, very rewarding. It was essentially the end of 3 years of development on my part.
See a robot.
You want to see a robot? Come and see the best robots. Come and see the house robots. These will amaze you.
It was at the top last time. Oh, that's interesting.
kiloton. There it is.
And
what's your name, Richard?
Richard Raw. Let's have a look. Is that pointy and sharp? Oh, yes.
Has she got a good side?
The other side's better.
No, that's fantastic.
Various.
So what's the pressure gauges for? Are they voltmeters?
That's for the feed for the
hydraulic.
For the pneumatics, yeah.
Dangerous thing to me.
Yeah, we lost all power, so I think my main on and off switch is dying. Really dying. That's there's nothing wrong with it. I think we should power that up as well. Okay, let's do it.
Is it all working well, or is it a complete nightmare?
We don't know yet. We haven't even tried it. It's not been tested in this format, and we're going to find out a little later on how it's going.
Well, just 2 seconds. Robot Wars, which basically is a war between robots, or it's robots fighting.
Britain is about to witness the birth of Robot Wars, which is all about robots fighting.
Britain is about to witness the birth of Robot Wars, which is all about robots fighting. For the last 6 months, teams from all over Britain have been building these robots, and they're in the pits now.
They're going to destroy them.
Now they're going to destroy them. And now we're going to destroy them. Yes. Better go and have a look what they look like. So we better get over to the pits and,
where they're preparing.
Well, I've got to introduce Philippa.
Preparing for battle.
Then you introduce Philippa Forrester as with the contestants.
Yeah.
Come.
The producers just come and told us off because apparently this was upside down yesterday. We didn't notice.
Which way did we know?
So you can't tell which way is upside down? I'm a bit disappointed though because we quite like that amateurish go-kart you made yourself in the garage feel to it, but that's how we'll always think of it. Are we allowed to see your robot with no clothes on?
Oh yeah, he's not shy.
Do you ever take your waistcoats off though? That's what I want to know.
Oh, we had to wear them. The other two team members who couldn't make it made us wear them.
We want to introduce each team. Right. In their pits area, with their robot, maybe the robot in the foreground, in their kind of garb. And it's got to be cheesy, in a sense. It's got to be, hi, I'm so-and-so, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, we're Team Warthog, and this is our robot, blah, blah, blah.
And into the camera, please, and off you go.
We're Team Cold Fusion, and this is our robot, Body Hammer.
Thank you guys, that's it.
And yours? Can we do it once more?
And then we need to film each team talking us through their robots.
This is our robot, Tracy. She's in the heavyweight category, and as you can see, she's quite sturdily built. It's got a unique facility that can turn upside down and still continue going, which is why I have the casters on both top and bottom.
Nemesis' primary weapon is a pneumatic ram, 150 psi pneumatic ram. Even though we might look furry and friendly, we've got a 2mm stainless steel can. We're going to take plenty of bashing.
We tried to alleviate as many problems as possible. We always get little problems that we have to iron out on the day.
Sergeant Bash was painted for the morning of the very first studio. In the morning of the studio, I still couldn't decide on what sergeant stripes looked like. I was asking loads of people, what do American sergeant stripes look like? And nobody knew. So eventually we had a vague idea of what British sergeant stripes look like, so we put those on the stuff.
The problem with the turntable was that one of the motors had burnt out. It's a sort of problem that we encounter quite often, but you never know quite when it's going to happen.
To actually see it kind of come to life before my very eyes was very exciting and very rewarding. Also, there was an edge of concern because essentially Robot Wars is a game show, it's a sport, it's a competition. It's only ever as good as the competitors. And so at this stage, we'd done all we could do. If the robots weren't up to scratch, if the robots broke down, then the show wouldn't work. We were very fortunate. All the teams were great, the robots were great, and all the people pulled together and created a great show. And for that, I'm very grateful.
They include with some of the best technicians, engineers and radio control experts in Britain today. But even though there's only a few seconds left before the first event, they're still making final adjustments.
Confirmation, please, that the arena is clear and safe for combat.
Arena's clear.
The arena is clear. Shots of the roboteers, please, on 2.
Stand by. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Robot Wars.
Can we just clear the arena, please?
Could be all over in seconds. 2. Klaxon, Craner, go. Off go the robots.
Nemesis gives Shunt the eye.
Nice and tight on 5. That
And that evil grin.
Look at the spikes.
Spikes look deadly as well. It's all about traction and torque. There's a little pneumatic ram shaped like a viper's tongue that can come out any minute and kill off Shunt.
Colin, can you see a
He's not
controller?
gonna go again, surely. We thought Shunt was unbeatable and fearless. Go on, Shunt, get out.
That was my friend, and you knocked him off.
We're up against.
Who do you want to be up against?
I'd say we'll have a chance at all of them.
With all of them?
Yeah.
Okay, so it won't matter. Follow me down the table to meet your opponents for the semi-final, the Roadblock team.
Hi. Trouble is, we just can't seem to make up our mind what blade to use.
How long do you think, Chris, Sergeant?
About 5 minutes now, because everything's going back on now.
It's like you're under the Archer's garage. It's, where'd you buy this one, Go?
Ladies and gentlemen, please clear the arena for the grand medal.
6 of them are going into the arena now for the very last time, and the excitement here in the pits is intense. We cannot wait to watch it. There'll be crowds around the monitor. We're going to enjoy this just as much as you are.
Can we put the robots in the spots, please? That's the idea. In the audience, please clap and cheer, but make sure you don't stand up. You must remain seated during combat.
2 years of work and a sticky bun leading up to this one moment.
Different faces. Jerry Bees. Good. We've been through them while I've been chatting. Voiceover.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Oh! Both of them are out, immobilised.
Race on 5.
4 left, body hammer, and Recyclops and Robert the Bruce there to the left-hand side, and the dangerous Roadblock.
Against the rules.
But up on each side, Recyclops. Down it comes, the tongue takes a fearful bashing. Oh, yeah.
35 seconds.
5's great. Absolutely amazing.
30 seconds. 25.
There's the chain off Recyclops.
20 seconds.
And then attacking by Roadblock as paid off. Recyclops is out. We're down to 3. And there's Robert the Bruce up on inside and goes as well, and that leaves 2.
5, 4, 3.
Cease!
It's over.
See the crowd, see the audience, please. See the audience, lights on the audience. Jeremy, are you with me? Can you hear me?
Again.
Can you hear me, Jeremy?
Yeah.
We have a decision.
All right, quieten down, everybody. Quieten down. We have a decision. A unanimous one from the judges that the winner, the British Robot Wars champion, Series 1, is Roadblock! You did it, guys! You did it! There it is, the trophy. And a very, very well-earned one, if I may be so bold.
So there you have it. If this look behind the scenes has inspired you to build your own robot, then please contact us first. Details are coming right up. Thanks for watching. And remember, you've seen the flamethrowers and the circular saws. Now you've seen the making of Robot Wars. Bye-bye.
Building robots is dangerous and shouldn't be attempted without great care. To receive our safety guidelines, you must first join the Robot Wars Club. Send a £10 cheque or postal order to Robot Wars London, W1A3AR. Members will also receive a badge, video and club magazine. If you build a qualifying robot, your money will be refunded. For more information, call our hotline.